CRM was supposed to improve customer relationships. Instead, it's shorthand for Customer Rage Machine. Your CRM can't explain why a customer's package took 5 detours? Reboot your inner peace and scream into a pillow. It's okay. On the ServiceNow AI platform, CRM stands for something better. AI agents don't just track issues, they resolve them, transforming the entire customer experience. So breathe in and breathe out. Bad CRM was then. This is ServiceNow.
Hi, I'm Christy. I'm your host for Inside the C-Suite, where execs get real about leadership, impact, and what truly drives high-stake decisions. I'm excited to have on the show today my new best friend, Libby DeLucien. I'm sure I messed up her last name. She'll correct me soon. She is a serial entrepreneur. She's the CEO of 3 companies: Organize It, WootRecruit, and Sell, Convert, Clean. This woman is brilliant, but it doesn't stop there. She's an author. She's a mentor. She's a mom, the most important job in the world, and she's a wife. Libby, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. And actually, you did justice with my last name. It was right, DeLucien.
Oh, yay! I'm manifesting that I will do better with people's names and pronunciations. Not my strong suit by any means. So you're joining us from Florida.
South Florida, Fort Myers. Sunny, hot, very hot Florida.
I just realized you have a bunch of beautiful high heels behind you.
I do. Yeah. Those hats and high heels.
Okay, I'm going to have questions for that. So, Libby, you have an amazing background, and there's so many things I want to ask you. I did scour the internet to learn more about you, and we are forever best friends from this point forward. We're both from Oklahoma, guys. Like, that doesn't happen very often, and we're both Indigenous, so you got the 2 OGs here. I love it. Libby, so tell me, Organize It, WootRecruit, and Sell, Convert, Clean.
Yes.
3 companies.
Yep.
So where did it start?
Actually, it all started from Organize It. I was going through a horrible separation and custody battle. And we were kind of working on our relationship. And one day I showed up to pick up the kids, and the locks got changed on the doors to the house, and he took the kids and ran away with them. And so I was just kind of locked out of everything, my life, my clothes, my everything. And I remember the day that it happened, I was sitting on a curb like a couple blocks down from our house. And I, had to make that phone call to my parents, because who's going to come save you when you're like locked out of everything? And from that point, I had to figure out what I was going to do. We had a bar and a restaurant in Ybor City. So if you've ever been to Tampa, Ybor City is like a huge party district. So I had prior business experience. And when I had to start all over, the one thing I thought of is I could start from my experience. So for any of our listeners who are thinking about making a career change or a life change, you're never really starting over. You're starting from your experience. So you're already ahead of the game. So I decided to start professionally organizing because, one, it was really good money per hour. I could control my time, like pick up kids, drop off kids. So it made me look better during the custody situation. And I was really good at it. I'm very logical, like systems based. And so from there, I started that in 2014. In 2018, we added cleaning because I wanted recurring revenue. And I wanted to make money without working. So I was like, I'm just going to hire a bunch of people to do the cleaning, and I can just sit here and it's going to be like an ATM machine. It's just going to be recurring money that comes in. Boy, like that was far from the truth. If you've never been in a home service or owned a home service company. And I struggled. We grew really fast. 2018, I launched cleaning. 2020, COVID hit. And the traditional ways of recruiting just took forever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insanity. I would go clean houses all day to like change my clothes, run to a Starbucks and meet somebody for an interview, and they weren't even there. Like they didn't even show up. In home service and entry-level positions, we have a really, really high no-show rate, like extremely high. And that's where my idea for WootRecruit came from, which is my software. It's like, how do I create a system to make this easier? And so we built WootRecruit from there, and then Sell Convert Clean came from another gap I saw in our industry. Yeah, it all started from, like I said, a little piddly cleaning and organizing company that most people would dismiss, but it's actually a really great industry. It is recurring money, house cleaning. And it's like the basis for me of everything. And everyone asks me if I'm going to sell that cleaning company. I'm like, oh no, we're actually franchising. We already have a few locations. But no, because one, it's my testing ground for both softwares. And it's the place like that started it all. AI, like with technology, my softwares would become obsolete tomorrow. They could. But it's going to be a long time until that robot can clean someone's house properly.
Well, we've seen the remote vacuum cleaners, and I'm not sure that they do the best job. So I love that you started with one company, and I hate that you had to start it from a place of life trauma, right? But also how beautiful that you got to start it from a place on your own and just really grow that. Saw a gap, and then it went into the WootRecruit. So did Sell Convert Clean come after WootRecruit or before? Okay, so tell us about that, because so I, like you, also am a checklister, and I like organization. And in fact, I moved in with my partner back in December, and he woke up and started filming me and sent it to the family laughing. I'd had the entire kitchen completely emptied and was going through and organizing things and putting things in jars with labels.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little bit psycho, but I love the way that your brain works in solving a problem and then finding a gap and then creating a solution. So you went from Organize It to WootRecruit to So talk to us about Sell Convert Clean.
Yeah. So it is a quoting tool, because one of the biggest issues I found in home service, whether like it's roofing or gutters or cleaning, giving the consumer an estimate really fast is challenging for a lot of entrepreneurs, right? For a lot of home service companies. So especially in cleaning, I find that a lot of times they're winging their price. They're also pricing jobs based off of their confidence level. So with Sell Convert Clean, what my mission is, or my goal is, to allow people to quote with confidence. Like, I'm not winging it. I'm not guessing. I'm not quoting based off the way I feel today. I'm consistently quoting all my customers the right way every time. And that way I can also hand off sales to my assistant or someone in the office as we grow, because that tends to be the last thing to hand off for a lot of cleaning or home service companies. And that's only because they don't have a system to how they quote. They're kind of guessing, and it's hard to train someone how to price a job if your system is kind of gut feeling and guessing involved.
Well, I think it would help build, in my opinion, it would help build trust too, because then you're consistent and fair in how you're pricing, right? And so that makes me feel good, because I love my housekeeper. I don't know what we would do without them. They're wonderful. They're family. So it's a great service that you bring. I really, Libby, I'm geeking out at the fact that you started one thing and were mindful and intentional enough to understand how to kind of go after the gaps. And I don't think that I don't see that as a strong point in a lot of leaders. So it's clear that you think in a completely different, magical way.
Yes, it is. I recently found out why that is. And we were just talking about this before we went live. Is that I have, it's called Aphantasia. And, as we all get older, we kind of want to learn more about ourselves and how do we operate. And, sometimes we go back to our, grassroots and I didn't know that I had it. I mean, I just found out earlier this year. I think it was in January. And I was born this way because as a child, I could never imagine anything, but no one ever told me that that's not the way you're supposed to do it.
So explain to the audience what it is, because it sounds like a Disney movie. And I had never heard it before. And then when you explained it to me, I was like, wow, I can't imagine what that would be like.
So aphantasia means you have no ability to imagine anything in your mind. So I cannot envision like a red apple, or I cannot recall memories in vision. I cannot recall faces. And so now I understand like why I'm a big picture fan or why I do certain things. I can recall memories in a checklist form, like, oh, it was this, like in a story form. I don't see anything when I dream. It's just like black, but it's like someone was reading a story to me. So I'm learning more about this. And when I first found out, I feel like, oh my God, I've been cheated my whole life.
That's how I felt when I had laser eye surgery. I'm like, I can see cobwebs and spiders and like crazy things.
And then last night, because we're doing like deep research, because I'm trying to like reach next level, right? I have a book coming out and my goal is to be a best-selling author. And it's like, okay, how can we up what I'm doing and the level of the things that I'm doing? So I wanted to lean into this aphantasia more to see, can I actually operate at a higher vibration, right? So, but I have to learn more about myself and how I operate. So last night, literally this was last night, I was reading, and my husband is an audio engineer, and I was reading and I said, wait, what is sound imagery? And he's like, oh, when you listen to something, you can tie it to an image. So like when I hear a certain song, I see an image, or when I hear a certain sound, I tie it to an image. I was like, oh my God, I don't have that either. And then, as we're reading, he goes, you're going to really hate me when I say this.
Oh,
and I'm like, what? He goes, when I read a book, it's like I see a movie while I'm reading.
I feel bad that you don't get to have dreams. I have like some Stephen King crazy dreams that I could make some money off of.
Yeah. And so I'm like, you mean it's not just words on a paper when I'm reading a book? Like you actually see things?
So I've got a question for you, because now we're talking about senses. So I wonder if it's the same for like scent for you. You'll have to get back to me and let me know. Is it?
Yeah. So like people smell something.
And they have a memory.
They have a memory, but I don't.
Vision.
Like I can recall a story, but I don't see anything.
So for me, I could smell blackberry cobbler and think of my grandma in the kitchen. And for you, it would be...
So I can think of my grandma in the kitchen, but I cannot see that blackberry cobbler or see her or recall her face.
Oh, wow. That is crazy. That's crazy. And it's beautiful to know. I have no idea how old you are, but you're obviously very successful and married and have children. But it's beautiful that you've survived this long and had all the magical experiences you had and never knew you were missing out.
No. And so in the research I was doing is like, I want to learn that if I think this way, how can I lean into it? Because other people were like, oh, maybe you could try and work on your brain and do this. And I'm like, actually, my goal in life is like, you don't want to be a generalist. You want to be a specialist. And I'm like, you know what? I've been this way my whole life. What if I just learn learn how my brain works so that I can actually go faster versus trying to think I can reverse this.
And I think that's on par with your brand and kind of the things that I've seen and heard you talk about, right? So you're all about velocity and how can we like hit the target faster and quicker and more accurately. Like that's very much on brand with you. Mm-hmm. And you're obviously a high achiever, and you'd shared that you're in a mastermind group as well. I love that you are really holding your body sacred and your mind sacred. And you're pushing, it's clear you're pushing for elevation, not just in what you're doing now, but like in your person.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us about that, because I talk to a lot of leaders, a lot of C-suite leaders, and there's a commonality in all of you, and you definitely have it, but I can see it. It's almost like racehorses. My uncle taught me when I was young. It's probably not the best thing to teach your niece, but he took me to the racetrack. He's like, let me show you how to win. And he said, you look for the horses that look a little jumpier. They have a little bit more energy. And he said, you look for that. That's the difference. And I'll be darned, he won every time. And so I see it in you. There's like an aura, like an energy, like you're a go-getter. But tell us about that, because a lot of people that listen to this are either leaders or emerging leaders. And I think they can learn something from it.
So this is actually something, this topic I'm very passionate about. I was that leader at one time where I didn't have time to do anything. I was eating like McDonald's in my car on a lunch break because I was busy or I was tired. I was overweight. And I just almost like hated my business. And then I had given so much to the business that by the time I got home, there was nothing left for the kids and absolutely zero left for my marriage. And it took someone telling me and seeing them do it for me to like wake up. Because I think too, as women, we're always taught that, oh, take care of the kids first, and then your husband, and then yourself. So when I put it in reverse, that's why I like the one layer deep concept. It's actually you. We focus on you, home, business, because you have to come first. And I'm a big believer of that the body or the mind follows the body. You're not going to get to next level leadership, management, thinking if you're not treating your body right, depending on like what you eat and what you put in it and you exercise. And then your home. So it's you home, and that's not your physical home. It could be, but it's your marriage and your relationship and your kids' relationships or relationships with your family. And then it's your business. And so most entrepreneurs, most leaders put the business first, then their family, and then themselves. But you can't pour from an empty cup.
No, you cannot. So I did watch some of your TikToks, and those watching this, they're little micro learning lessons and inspirations is kind of what I would take from it. But there was one on there that I thought was there was a couple actually I thought were really interesting, but there was one that I wanted to ask you about. So you talk about, because it was an aha moment for me, Libby.
Oh.
You talk about coaches, right?
Yes.
And you know, I'm a high performer. Everyone I talk to is a high performer. Like, we're just built differently. We want more. We wake up early. We do extra stuff that most people are like, why are you doing that?
I think it can be learned, though. I don't think a high performer is born sometimes that way. I think it can be learned because 5 years ago, I was not a high performer. I was chasing a dream, or I thought I was, versus like learning what it takes to be a high performer turned me into one.
Well, true, but I think you have to have, I know you have to have that drive, right?
Yes.
Or hopefully that inspiration.
That's true.
So, but when you were talking on your TikTok about coaches, and I'm curious what your point of view is on coaches, because the thing that was an aha for me, Miss Libby, was you were talking about people get a coach. And I heard this the other day because a lot of people will go, hey, can you help me with my go-to-market strategy? Because for me, I do see it dances in my head. And I'm like, oh, you could do all of these things. But someone told me a lot of CEOs and founders get confused and think they need a personal coach when they actually might just need a go-to-market or a business coach. And so and that was kind of like I was like, oh, that's interesting. But you were talking about the difference of coaching and how to identify what you needed. And I'd love for you to share that, because it was such a aha for me to break it down the way you did into different lanes.
So there's a ton of different coaches, but we're just going to put them in the 3 general categories. So we have a business coach, which coaches you on the core model of your business, like the business foundation, right? You know, maybe it's your core foundation of just your customer journey. How do you deliver a service? Like, just what's the core foundation? Business coach. Then you have leadership coaching, which is how you show up as a leader in the business. How do I lead my leadership team? How do I manage the managers? And then there is, they call it a life coach, mindset coach. And typically this is who do I need to be?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's who do I need to be to show up to reach, a $10 million goal or $1 million goal. And most of the time people run to like a business coach, or they think they need more leadership. And it's so funny because I have a coach, and we were talking about, I'm in preseason. I'm like, what do I need to do? Do I need more leadership training? And he's like, Libby, you need 0 leadership training. He's like, you don't need it right now. You're kind of over that. You need to keep working on you. And who do you need to be? And I think sometimes, especially I see this with, people that I work with and in my industry, whether it's software or home service, people think the problem is one thing. So they run to a coach or a mentor for that thing. But, typically I see why people are stuck or they can't reach a goal is they'll invest in the business and like learn another framework or another process, or let me sign up for another class or another module, but they will not work on themselves. They're in denial about how that is directly correlated to not reaching a business goal or the business being stuck. And it's because typically they're operating to the level of their environment. They have not upped their environment. So it's like Groundhog's Day.
I have goosebumps because there's about 100 different people that need to hear what you just said. I'm so glad you said it. No, it's really, really true. And, so you're talking about knowing what you need to work on. So another thing that like you had a little zinger, it was a hook and it caught me. So congratulations, your marketing work. But can you tell me about the time you hired a drag queen to coach you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was the thought around that? I love it.
So have you ever seen yourself in pictures? So I do a ton of speaking on stage, and I was looking at pictures of myself. So we had just left a conference, and I was looking at either like pictures that people from the conference had posted of me or pictures from stage. And I just wasn't happy with the way I looked. I'm like, oh my gosh, stand up straight. Like,
Mine's always my shoulders, like up and back.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, Libby, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I need to work on who am I when I show up to the conference, or who am I when I show up, on even a podcast or Zoom. And so I thought about it. I was thinking about it. I remember that morning of the conference ended. It was Sunday morning. We were in Dallas because it was in Dallas, and we walked I have a really favorite brunch place downtown in Dallas.
Oh, I'm local. What is it?
It's chicken and cocktails.
I haven't been. Okay, I'll have to try it.
You have to have a reservation just to get in on a Sunday.
Chicken and cocktails? Okay.
Yeah, they have a live DJ. Like, it's super fun on a Sunday morning. And I said, so you know what I started to do? I asked on social media. I was like, I need a stage coach. Like, I'm looking for like either an etiquette coach, like how do you walk? How do you talk? I'm pretty good once I'm on the stage, but it's like even just owning the room. Like, I want to own the room when I walk in, like attention. And I was looking up things and I was like, no, none of this is what I want. Like, no, because I was reading like the websites and what they do. And I was like, no, this is not what I want. And then it was my husband actually who had that idea. He's like, you should call Andy. And I'm like, why? And he's like, he is like the best performer I've ever seen. Like, when he's in character, like he's in drag, like he is not Andy. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Like, I didn't even think about that.
And thinking outside the box.
I called Andy, and we only had a couple sessions because I wanted his help for him to help me build the persona. Who is Libby D? Her name is Libby D. Who does she represent? Like, so I represent like women in business, and who is she not? So like we have a whole thing, what she not is. What are the triggers of how do I get into character? Because what it is it's not, this is what I don't want people to think it is. It's not that I'm fake. It's just that it is the 10x version of who I want to be written on paper. Because when you want to be something, you have these aspirations. It needs a different level of you, and sometimes it's hard to remember. You fall out of that habit, and you can't perform that way all the time. It's exhausting because you got to work into it. You got to learn it. And so it was like, this is the 10x version of who I want to be, how I want to show up. Because sometimes we have bad days and we don't show up that way.
Oh, tell me. Yes.
But now I have the triggers, right? When I get ready for certain things, and automatically your mind goes to that, like confidence, how you speak and how you move. It was great. And my team loved it. It helped my marketing team tremendously. Yeah. It was just an outside the box idea.
Well, and how great is it that you have a co-collaborator, in your hubby to offer such crazy out of the box thinking that obviously worked. And that's why I'm drawn to you, Libby D. I'm drawn to you because you are authentic and you're gritty. Like, you just got in there and kind of did it.
Oh yeah. So, I'm very
definitely.
gritty.
Well, and you said something else. There was something that like really landed with me, and you said, what was it? Intentional execution was a term you used. And that is a power phrase, intentional execution. What do you mean by that when you say that?
Well, I think, and this kind of goes into the book and the 1LD mindset, most people are misaligned. And this can go into your marriage, into your business, into the relationship with your kids. It starts from misalignment. Most people are misaligned on anything, like what they want, what the family goals are, business goals. So it starts with alignment. And then once you have an alignment, you can then have intention, right? Which then creates execution, because then you know exactly what you're doing and what you want to do. But if you don't have alignment, you can't have intention. And then it's very hard to execute. And most entrepreneurs or people in this world, they think they need more time, but they don't need more time, right? Everyone's chasing the work-life balance. It's like the work-life balance. Well, let me tell you, as a certified
the Loch Ness Monster
professional organizer and a certified mindset coach, it doesn't exist. You're trying to find, instead of a work-life balance, it's intentional time. It's intentional time. It's doing things with intention and being fully there versus trying to find when I'm home, I'm not going to look at my phone. And if you own the business, it's just this mush of you. There is no separation of work from your home life. That's very hard. Because if the business has a bad day, you're going to feel crummy at home. It's hard to turn that off. Or if you have a bad day at home, you're going to feel crummy at work. And so instead of focusing on a work-life balance, it's focusing on more with an intention of your time.
No, I love that. You have so many good nuggets. And so we talked a little bit about the 1 layer deep. And I know that you've got a website on that and would encourage everyone to check it out just based on the little bit that I've got to know my new friend. But you had one that just tickled my heart and I'll tell you why. My mom always tells me when I would get overwhelmed that the only way to get through it is to eat the elephant one bite at a time. So not going to eat your yaya, but you did write a little book about leading like an elephant. And that it made me think of my mom. I was like, oh, but tell us about Yaya the elephant and how that came up, because you're not only passionate about adults and business and entrepreneurship, but obviously there's something in your heart that's pouring into children. And I think that's really cool.
Yes. So me and my daughter worked on a book together, and it's called Leading Like an Elephant. She's the main character, Yaya. Her name is Yaya. Her real name is Ayala, which means to arrive at last in Choctaw, which is a Native American indigenous word. So it means to arrive at last. And she did the voiceovers. All the characters in the book are my kids or my mom. So there's some main characters. My mom is in there and my other two boys are in there. And it was kind of like a fun side project while we were writing this giant business book. And that's probably been like the funnest thing to do. And now we've done a ton of book signings everywhere we go. We give away the book. So she takes them and signs them, gives them away. And, through that book writing process, we also have, we call it Kids That Clean. So she does a whole series and she teaches kids how to clean.
Okay, I know a bunch of moms and dads that want to sign up their kids for this boot camp.
And that was like a passion thing just that came from Organize It, from our cleaning company. I had one of the trainers come over because Yaya wants to grow up to be one of the cleaners. And I said, you know what, let's have one of the trainers come over and let's just train her. And we recorded it. And so Yaya's just learning how to clean. So she's teaching kids and talks through it. And my son does our social media marketing. I have a 27-year-old. He does our social media marketing for the cleaning company. So he gamified it and turned it into 13 rules that the kids have to follow. And it's super cute.
Oh
I can make sure to send it's on our social media sites under the cleaning company's profile.
I just have to tell you, I'm so in awe of you right now because you're a great female empowerment story, full stop. But not only that, but 3 companies, employing your children, teaching them to be entrepreneurs. I mean, Libby, teach a class on this because you're talking about building generational wealth.
And that's my ultimate goal. My son does social media marketing for my cleaning company and he does it for a couple other companies. He's very small, but he's very good at what he does, very passionate. My mom works and runs one of the cleaning locations. My husband is the CTO for one of the softwares. A 17-year-old. He was working for us, doing social media, monitoring like comments and private messages, working remote. And he says that he feels like he needs to go get a real 9-to-5 job where he drives to it with a brick and mortar. And I was like, okay, sweetie, if you feel that you need to do that, go ahead and try. And so he's going through the interview process right now. And so owning a recruiting software, I keep asking him, so how'd that go? How was the interview? What'd they ask you? Like, so yeah. And then Yaya, her job is, so we try to give all of our kids like a little job. Her job right now is to just share the book, and she's a Girl Scout, so she's a cookie dealer.
And if she's anything like her mom, she has a whole plan on how to distribute the cookies.
She does. And so that one's hard for me because I don't eat sugar. So I've been sugar and carb free for like 5 years.
Wow.
And I'm like, it's hard for me like to encourage her to sell the cookies because I'm like, no, sugar is not good for you, but you can't.
It's an addiction.
Yeah. But I have gotten through many cookie seasons without eating a cookie.
Oh, I could eat the Girl Scout chocolate mint is the death of me. It's the death of me. And I love seeing the Girl Scouts, and you have to support them. And the most brilliant stands that I've ever seen are usually just a couple doors down from a smoke shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just like, way to go, Mom, because they sell out so quickly. It's really cute.
Yeah, they actually, I was pretty surprised at how they encourage young girls to, like, we can't help her with nothing. We can't help her give change, like literally nothing. And I'm like, wow, like it's been a really good lesson for her.
It's good to bring up strong female leaders. We need more of them. And I'm very thankful to have met you and get to know you. And I know the audience is just falling in love with you as well, because you have such great aura and energy and all of the things. So we talked about a lot, and that's just cracking the nut with you. So is there anything that you'd like to share before we close the session? Because Libby, you are a multi-dimensional individual. There's not just one, like you are an onion, true and true. Anything else you want to share?
No, just keep an eye out for our book. It launches September 23rd. Super excited. My goal is to be a best-selling author. And somebody asked me why the other day. And my response was like, does it matter why? It doesn't matter why. I just need to honor the goal. I don't need to tell you why.
And your why might be personal for you.
Yeah. I actually don't know what the why is. It's just because it's something I want to do.
So you know what? You're going to show all of the Native American little girls, all the brown little girls that get confused for what we are, that we can do it too.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I'm right behind you, sister. So you got to show me the way and all the things you're doing. You know, Libby, I just have to say thank you from the bottom of my heart and our community's heart for what you have built, because you've built 3 strong companies. You obviously have a loving, caring family that you're pouring into, and that's not usual. So thank you for being you. Thank you for showing up and listening to your storyboard in your head. It's because we know you read in chapters, but thank you for being you and following the path and showing the rest of us, especially other little Native girls, that we can do it too. So appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
No, it's been an honor. Guys, go follow Libby, like, subscribe, buy the book on September 4th. Ciao.